In this video, I will show you how you could create such beautiful looking diagram just by using code. You don't have to manually label it. You don't have to manually connect the dots, not even drag and drop any kind of icons. It's going to be really easy for you once you get used to it. So the first thing you need to do is you need to check out this repo. In this repo, I have created a complete development environment for you. It's also known as dev container. In dev container, I have configured and automated everything that this project need. All you have to do is take care of two things. You need to ensure that you have Docker Desktop installed and running, and you need to install Visual Studio Code. Once you have done that, the next step is really simple. You have to create a local clone of this repo. I would recommend to fork the repo first before you clone it. This way you will have your own copy of this repo and you could even push your own diagram code in that. Once you have done that, all you have to do is open this repo in VS Code. Now, this in itself is not enough because it won't be a part of the dev container. Right now, you just opened this in a text editor. Okay. So to reopen it in dev container, open up the command palette and type reopen. If you search for reopen, you will see two options. There is reopen in container and rebuild and reopen in container. I would recommend to go with reopen in container if it is your first time. But if you feel like you messed up somewhere, you tried something, it did not work out and you screwed, well, just rebuild it. That's the whole beauty of dev container. It's easily recreatable. Okay, you don't have to put a lot of effort to just recreate the environment. Just rebuild and reopen. So for me, I will just reopen it. And once you do that, it might take a while, might take around 5 to 10 minutes, depending on your network connectivity and your speed. Of course, it will take time just to set up all the tools that is needed. Okay, it will install and configure a lot of things. Okay, you don't need to know that. That's the whole point of having a dev container. You can get started. You don't need to worry about what it is doing. Of course, if you're interested, I would recommend checking out this .dev container folder and this script folder as well as this mees.toml file. Okay, that will give you more clarity on what we are trying to achieve here. But the bottom line is you don't have to do much. Once you have done that, it's really simple. Go ahead and create a .d2 file in diagram. So let me open up a sample one for you. Okay. And this is all you need. This whole piece of code will generate the diagram for me. Okay. So to do that, go back to terminal. You can open terminal using the keyboard shortcut, which is Control tilde, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, you will have a terminal. What I have done is I have already pinned a terminal over here, which is really easy. Just go ahead and drag and drop and you can right click and pin it. Okay, I already have it, so that's fine. And once you have done that, you need to run a command, okay, which is mees run watch, and then you need to provide the path of the file you want this to refer to. Okay, so for me it's /diagram and look for k3s.d2. okay, press enter and it will start running and you will see success message. Now, as you can see in the output folder, there are two new files created. One is k3s.png and another is k3s.svg. So if I open it on another panel, you can see this is the diagram it generates. Okay, as you can see, it's pretty easy. Now let me quickly just give you an overview of what I have actually done, so you will have an understanding. If you want to have replicate this, you can have this. All my diagram code should be in my repo. Okay, so you could look into those and have an idea about how I have structured it. But really simple. We are using a tool called D2. Okay, it's declarative diagramming. Now, if you go to its docs, okay, they have provided a complete documentation, things like customization. So if you want to have specific themes, you could check out those. Okay, There are different colors and themes that you could use for styling. If you want to add opacity, add stroke. If you want to change it to a 3D diagram also, it only works with rectangles and squares shape, but you could try those. You could go with different font size and color. You could even animate it. So as you can see, this is the animated part, so you could animate that with ease. Okay, so check out the documentation. However, I found the documentation a bit lacking. Okay, it's not properly organized in a sense. So maybe in the future I will add more documentation about how to create this, but for time being you could refer to their official documentation and have an understanding of how to generate any diagram using the code. Okay, and just a quick overview of what I have done over here. In vars, I have defined the global variable, things like theme. So I have mentioned the theme number. Okay, if I want to turn it into sketch, I could simply uncomment it. And if I save the file, you could see the diagram should change momentarily, because yeah, as you can see, it changed. Okay, because the command we used to actually generate the diagram, it's continuously watching the file change. So anytime I save the k3s.d2 file, it will recompile everything and regenerate, which means I don't have to run this command again and again. Just run it once and start working on diagrams. Okay, and the direction is right. Okay, from left to right. And there are some classes I have defined to have customizations. Again, it's your choice, whatever you want to do. Okay, once you have done that, this is the important part, which is the objects that we put. Okay, so anything below line 30 is what matters to you. If you just comment all of this out, you will just have the default values. If you don't want to use the default, you can modify that. So that's why I have kept it in here. Okay, so the first thing I have created is a proxmox. Now proxmox in itself is basically a rectangle. Okay, this is my actual home lab setup. Okay, it's not a complete diagram, this is still work in progress, but over here I try to show you that I have proxmox installed in my hardware. In that I have created two virtual machine, one of which is having Ubuntu. Technically it's having Ubuntu server, and in that I have installed a Kubernetes flavor, which is K3s, and in that I have applications running. I even have associated a Cloudflare D so that it will have tunneling system and whatnot. Again, doesn't matter, I was just explaining you the diagram. Okay, you could add shapes, you could add labels, you could even add icon. Now for icon, it's very tricky because you need to fetch the icon, but I've tried to make it very simple for you. Okay, so what I've done is I have collected a few good websites from where you could actually get the icons. Okay, so if you check out the readme section and come down, you can see I have created a icon set section. Okay, if you are looking for Kubernetes icon, you could check out that repo. If you're looking for AWS, so let me just show you for AWS. Okay, if you come here, you can see all these diagrams and icons are available for the diagram. Okay, so if you're looking for S3, maybe we're looking for this one. Okay, you can either download it, move it to your folder, maybe put it in an asset folder and provide the relative path to that. Otherwise, the easy thing is to just right click. Okay, you could copy the image address, or you can just open image in new tab and copy this URL. Okay, and this you can use to put it here and save it, and it should change right over here, I guess. Yeah, you can see. Okay, it just used that new icon. Of course I don't want it, but this is how you could find almost all icons that we deal with in architectural diagrams. Of course you can bring your own. Okay, just have any kind of png, svg file, jpeg, I guess, if I'm not mistaken. Just refer to the documentation. They must have a section somewhere. I don't actually remember where it is. Okay, because I always prefer to go with URLs. Okay, so you could do that. Once you have done that, once you have set up everything, you can simply do git pull and push and whatever you want with your code. Okay, so if I'm okay with it, all I could do is come here. I can even use GitHub Copilot to auto generate the messages. Okay, this is very generic one, so let me go with page add demo diagram. Okay, and I can even sing the changes. When I do that, if I go to my GitHub repo and refresh it, you would see there were some changes and those were pushed technically right now. Okay, so this is how you could do all your diagrams. It's really, really simple. And for your ease, I have modified the script to generate two different output. It will generate a PNG file and it would generate an SVG file. Now, SVG file, as you know, can be animated. The PNG cannot be animated. It is a static file. Okay, but SVG is not supported in a lot of platforms. Okay, so I would recommend go with PNG. And if you have SVG, the only solution that I know that works for now is to look for some online tool which will convert SVG into GIFs. Okay, that would work. Or maybe just record your screen for a while and put it in a loop or something. Okay, that could work if you really want to have this animated. Okay, animation is never the center point of having a diagram. Okay, it might look good, but it doesn't help in any other way. Okay, so yeah, this is how you could do all of your architectural diagrams with ease. You don't have to do any kind of setup or installation. As long as you have Docker desktop running and VS Code installed, this is all you need. Okay, and please check out the readme. I have added links and I have even provided you with the instructions about what to do. If you don't want to use dev container, there is a way to do local setup as well. You need to use Mees and you need to install that. You need to install D2CLI. A lot of things you need to do if you are doing a local setup without using dev container. But the quickest and the best way is to just go with dev container. Okay, so yeah, this is it. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.